How you guys doing? Welcome back into Rover Sports, back at the normal setup today. And tonight I'm going to record a couple of other videos. I guess I could show you guys in one of my other videos. I could rock my Davis Webb jersey for a little bit. I just got it in the mail. Pretty cool stuff. I can show you get that in a while. But this video tonight is about the Minnesota Vikings. And I'm going to be doing a lot of team preview videos. So basically, I look at the depth chart, I tell you what I like, I tell you my concerns for the overall team, and then I go through the schedule, I project the wins and losses. So just from the jump, when we look at the Minnesota Vikings, right? When we look at Minnesota, I think the upgrade of Kirk Cousins was a tremendous move. People are going to say, first off, I think Case Keenum played very valiantly. And I think it was right by the Minnesota Vikings that they let Case Keenum go the rest of the way in the rest of the season. I think that the win against New Orleans was important for the team camaraderie and overall morale of the team. I think Brian Robison, Everson Griffin, Terrence Newman, there are so many good leaders on that side of the ball, even defensively, even Anthony Barr. The whole defense has great leaders, great personalities, and the personnel is absolutely awesome for the defensive side of the football. Although the Eagles hit them deep on big plays, the Eagles had a very good offense. Their weapons started to gel. They had a ton of wide receivers. And overall, beating the Saints, getting the first round bye, winning the NFC North, I think going 12-4 or maybe 11-5. Last year was a big-time success for the Minnesota Vikings. And now with Kirk Cousins, they are going to be in contention, I believe, for a Super Bowl. And when you look at the roster and you look at the depth chart of the Minnesota Vikings, I do want to see first-round pick. I think he was number 23 in the first round. I want to see Laquan Treadwell start to produce in this offense because he could be very good. Another guy this year that really is going to try to take the reins at running back, Dalvin Cook's going to be the running back for the Vikings, okay? And Dalvin Cook is really going to try to carry this group. Minnesota's offensive line has always kind of plagued them. And, looking at the depth chart, I'm not an offensive line expert, although recently when I've started to do the YouTube channel, get really more into the football part of looking at the depth chart and everything, there's still not a lot of mainstays on the offensive line. I mean, Pat Elflein is a guy that, you've heard about as a center, I think out of Ohio State. Mike Remmers, Tom Compton from Chicago's a free agent. So it's up to them to perform pretty good. But then you look at Adam Thielen, you look at Diggs. The bottom line is the Vikings are a very good team. They gained Kirk Cousins. They bring back Kyle Rudolph. Their coaching hire of John DeFilippo was excellent. What an excellent offensive coordinator, because DeFilippo was with the Cleveland Browns, did okay. But last year, he was right under Doug Peterson with Frank Reich, winning a Super Bowl championship. Great work ethic. This guy's going to be a head coach. So you look at the teams that I really like, and it's the Titans. And look at the Titans have Matt LaFleur. And then I look at another amazing offensive coordinator, and it's John DeFilippo. And I would take LaFleur and DeFilippo over about maybe 10 of the coaches in the AFC right now. That's how good these coaches are. George Edwards has been there a while. So overall, you look at the Minnesota Vikings, and there's so much to like. But I'm going to list the problems that the Vikings are going to face. One, if the Vikings were playing in the AFC, they would have a much more manageable time. I look at the best teams in the AFC being Kansas City, New England, Pittsburgh to a degree, and then the other team I was going to mention is the Tennessee Titans, possibly the Steelers or Texans, but those guys aren't even that good. But we look at the NFC. And I'm going to do a Packers preview soon, but I already went through the schedule, and I'm not sure if I have the balls to pick Minnesota winning the NFC North this year, because I think the Packers have a very complete team, and their new general manager, he didn't just stay with the original team. They made major shakeups, whether it was trading like the cornerback that they had on their roster. They also drafted Josh Jackson. The Packers had a really, really nice draft. I mean, they got a Saints first round pick, which is not going to be all that great. But they're going to have a couple of high picks, in the late 20s next year. Then what they did is they got the Louisville guy, cornerback Jair Alexander. I don't know if the Vikings are as good as a healthy Aaron Rodgers and Jimmy Graham, so you have them to worry about. Chicago's a lot better, but they are young at the quarterback position. They are young offensively. Their coach is young, and they are going to take a little bit of lumps, and it's going to be a good 8-8 for Chicago, and I completely believe in Matt Nagy. And then Matt Patricia has a decent roster, but I don't know if it can compete in the NFC North. I see also some positive strides being made there, but offensively, I'm not really sure what the Lions are going to bring to the table. So then you look at the Vikings, and I think the Vikings are a solid wild card 10-11 win team, because let's just look at their defense. Sheldon Richardson also brought over. This is a win-now team with win-now aspirations. You then have Xavier Rhodes. You have Xavier Rhodes, and I really do want to see if Mackenzie Alexander can beat out Trey Waynes, because I like Alexander more than Waynes. I think Waynes holds a little bit too much. Waynes is a decent tackler, but I like Alexander, and I really like his feistiness, and I think he's very good. You also have Terrence Newman, you have an excess of riches in your secondary at the cornerback position. You have Zendejo, who's played a really long time, but who might retire. Harrison Smith, a Pro Bowler, a top 50 guy. Ben Gideon's getting into the starting lineup. I think the Vikings also might have signed Michael Kendricks. I'm not really sure if they did, but I know that they have Eric Kendricks on their roster and Anthony Barr. So, and then you look at the defensive line with Griffin. You have Brian Robeson. It's a terrific, terrific defense. So with that being said, let's go ahead now and look at the upcoming season. My biggest fears for the Vikings are the Green Bay Packers, first of all, Aaron Rodgers, Jimmy Graham. The competition of the NFC Conference with the Saints, with the Bucks, with the 49ers, the Rams being decent this year, the New York Giants, the Eagles, a lot of teams that can come out and challenge them. And then Kirk Cousins, I think, is above average. I think he's a very, very good player, but he's not an incredibly elite superstar like a Jimmy G or an Aaron Rodgers. But I think that he's a top 10 guy, and you could certainly win a championship with him. So let's look at the schedule for Minnesota. I think there are some home games that I really like, and let's see if we can hit a run where we look at their schedule and where we can hit like a nice run where they will end up winning games. All right, so I'm going to look at the schedule now. Minnesota Vikings. Guys, thanks for watching the video. First game against the 49ers will be a wonderful game. We're going to learn a lot about Kirk and a lot about the Vikings, but I think we know about the Vikings. San Francisco going to Minnesota. If the Niners win that game, even as a guy who does Niner videos and everything, it's a game where the Niners have Sherman. They might be starting Fred Warner out. Jerick McKinnon's playing running back really for the first time. And you're going to a place in Minnesota where I don't know if the Vikings even lost a home game last year. So essentially, I think I do have the Vikings winning this game over the Niners, probably in the range of maybe like 27-20. A good, tightly contested game that the Vikings will control. Then they have to go to Lambeau Field, and I don't think they're winning that game, so it's 1-1. Buffalo at home's 2-1. Then they have two crucial games. They go to the Eagles, and they play at the Rams. To the Eagles and at the Rams. And against the Eagles, they're really going to have to play perfectly. I don't think the Eagles are going to be as hungry. I don't think they're going to be as together as they were last year. When the Vikings go to the Rams, I am going to shock everybody. It's hard to pick the Vikings winning both of these games. I'm going to have them beating the Rams, though. I don't believe in the quick turnaround that much. I don't believe in Jared Goff that much. I'm on record as saying that. I think the Vikings come back and beat the Rams, go to 3-1, huge win. They go and beat the Eagles 4-1, 5-1 over the Cardinals. At the Jets is a dead win, 6-1. No matter what, if they split that, they're going to be really good. They're going to be 5-2 after Week 7 most likely. But I have them at 6-1. They play the Saints at home. I have them at 6-1. It's common to think that they're going to eventually run into a team that will beat them. So I'm going to give the Saints the win. 6-2. I'll take the Vikings losing to the Saints. Then the Lions, I'll give them a win. 7-2 at recess for the bye. Then you start out at Chicago. 7-2. You win that game. You go to 8-2. The Packers beat you. You go to 8-3. You lose to the Patriots 8-4. You lose to Seattle 8-5. I think Seattle's going to be much improved, and beating Russell Wilson's going to be really hard. This schedule is really tough. But you're 8-5. You have the Dolphins, which is a win. You get to 9-5. You go to Detroit 10-5. Bears 11-5. Green Bay, I have Green Bay sweeping the Vikings. I have Green Bay probably getting to 12 or 13 when I'm going to do them. So I have Green Bay winning the NFC North, and unfortunately for the Vikings, I think that the Packers and the Niners are both better teams than Minnesota this year. It's unfortunate to say that. I do like Kirk Cousins, but this year, it's just, this schedule is brutal. Going to the Rams, going to the Eagles, having the Bears, having just going, and this is the most crucial part of their schedule, is these 4 games. At Chicago, which will be tough after the bye week. Green Bay at home, at the Patriots, then at Seattle. Brutal. Ridiculous schedule. Ridiculous part. Getting to 11, it is going to be really hard. This schedule, they might even get to 10, might even get to 11. It's not like the Titans schedule. It's a very difficult schedule. There's going to be games where they're going to have to step up and play well and get through some toughies and then handle all the chip shots just to even get into the wild card this year. That's how competitive the NFL and the NFC is becoming. Thank you guys for watching. Have a great day. To all the Vikings fans, thanks a lot. You guys are one of the nicest fan bases in the NFL. A lot of the NFC Northerners are great people. Skol Vikings, thanks for watching the vid, guys. Take care. Have a wonderful evening. See ya.